I would just like to make a quick video responding to Jen Psaki's interview with Jon Stewart on his podcast. And I want to applaud Jen Psaki for standing up for her beliefs and not just rolling over to go with whatever Jon Stewart was saying, which he repeatedly tried to get her to agree that it was the Democrats' fault. Not explicitly, but that's what he was trying to say, that it was the Democrats' fault and Democrats are to blame for Trump, this, that, and the third. Now, she did roll over a little bit, in my opinion. Maybe that's her true views, or going along with what he was saying. But I just have a problem with people like Jon Stewart. Although I think he's funny, he's smart, he's talented. This false equivalency that he promotes is a cancer within progressive circles. This idea that every ill that happens in America, economic ill, always has to be tied back to the Democratic Party. You know, Trump's bad, but it's the Democratic Party that led to this. No, it didn't lead to this. What led to this is right-wing radio, which he touched on in that interview. What led to it was this weaponization of religion, this, in my opinion, distortion of Christianity. That led to it. What led to it is this false equivalency that Jon Stewart, Dean Phillips, and others participate in. What led to it is the normalization of the actions of Trump by the mainstream media. That's what led to Trump, in my opinion. He also touched on, Donald Trump is diagnosing the issues correctly. That's his opinion, but I don't think Donald Trump is diagnosing what Jon Stewart is saying. What Donald Trump is saying is it's rigged against me, therefore it's rigged against you. When Donald Trump loses, he doesn't get an Emmy for The Apprentice, it's rigged. So I hardly think that he's diagnosing any problem. What he's doing is exploiting people who aren't able to, in my opinion, critically think, and also subscribe to this nihilist thinking that Jon Stewart and others support. He touched on the 2016 primary and how the Democrats had their thumb on the scale for Hillary Clinton. Now, we've moved past that. We shouldn't be trying to open up old wounds when we're trying to fight against Trump and this extremism that they're pushing right now. But Bernie Sanders didn't win the Democratic nomination because he didn't get enough votes. Plain and simple. The same reason he didn't win the nomination in 2020 because he didn't get enough votes. He didn't get enough votes with the minority community, with the black community. That's why he didn't get the nomination. What Jon Stewart and people like him must understand is that the base of the Democratic Party aren't people like Jon Stewart. The base of the Democratic Party aren't people like Dean Phillips. The base of the Democratic Party, in many cases, are black people, people of color, and some other groups. I can't really think all the groups right now, but people of color are really the base of the Democratic Party. These are people who vote usually, especially black women, consistently for Democrats in overwhelming numbers over and over and over and over again. The Bernie Sanders type people, at least back then, I have great respect for Bernie Sanders, even more now than I did in the past. Those are the people who don't vote for Democrats consistently. They are nihilists. If I don't get everything I want, I won't vote. If I don't get everything I want, I'll vote for the other party just to make a point. And then once those policies come into fruition, I'm going to complain and whine. And why isn't the Democratic Party doing enough? That's what they love to do. So that's really not helpful. What Jon Stewart is perpetuating is this false equivalency virus that's in progressive circles, and I can't stand it, and it needs to be stomped out. I have no problem with Jon Stewart criticizing Democrats in a way that's a little bit more constructive, and it's like this. I think Democrats need to be more progressive and push for more progressive policies. But I understand also that the Democratic Party and Democrats at large tend to be far and away better than Republicans in what they try to achieve for the American people. He criticized the Affordable Care Act, which maybe he had some legitimate criticisms, but then you also say, but I also understand that that program did lots of good work, has protected many people with pre-existing conditions, and that no Republicans voted for it, and they tried to kill it. So you have to show that although I'm criticizing, in my opinion, you have to show that although I'm criticizing Democrats, as Jon Stewart, I understand that Democrats are far and away more superior than Republicans in terms of the policies that help the American people. When you have the vast majority of recessions happening under Republican presidents, when you have more job growth under Democratic presidents than Republican presidents, when you have, lower deficits under Democratic presidents and Republican presidents, that needs to be explained and pushed forward. But I can't stand the constant, everything's the Democrats' fault. I like the Democrats, but everything's their fault. I don't like Trump, but Democrats led to Trump. I don't like this unserious thing that Trump's doing, but it was because of Democrats. I cannot stand that, and it needs to stop. Now, Jon Stewart is a smart man, and I assume that he knows that when it comes down to voting, I vote for the Democrat because they're the better party and more aligned with his views. But the idea that he has, this nihilistic idea that he promotes, is also what leads some of the Bernie voters to vote for Trump. And then they want to complain about the outcomes of it. That same idea that Jon Stewart has is the same idea that fuels the environmental justice far left liberal who says, well, I can't vote for the Democrats because they haven't done everything that I want, therefore I'm going to vote third party. And then once the Republicans roll back all the environmental regulations that they supposedly cared about, then where's the Democratic Party? Why aren't they helping me? Why aren't they fighting harder? Well, why didn't you fight to help the Democrats get elected? To further your goals. Maybe not in a full way, in the 100% way you want, but just move the ball forward. So please, Jon Stewart and these other Democratic, Democrat but not Democrat, I don't even know what he is, stop this constant criticism of Democrats. It's really, really not helpful. And you're not helping even advance the ideas that you want, because the only thing you're doing is are giving clips for libs of TikTok and other groups, Elon Musk, to share, saying, see, even the Democrats know Democrats are terrible.